The man accused of stabbing and beating his friend to death in a Bangor apartment this month told police he understood he was responsible for the other man's death, but doesn't remember it happening.
69-year-old Gary Brinson was arrested last Friday and charged with the murder of 64-year-old Lee Ruona. Both men lived in different units of an apartment building on Union Street. Investigators said they found Ruona's body after Brinson called 911 on December 4th.
According to court documents, Brinson told police the two drank a gallon and a half of liquor and 26 beers the day before. Brinson said the two men were longtime friends and both combat veterans who drank to forget their PTSD. Brinson admitted to police he can get angry and violent when he drinks heavily.
During interviews after Ruona's death, Brinson repeatedly said Ruona left his apartment alive and he only discovered the body when he woke up the next morning. Eventually, Brinson changed his story, saying Ruona did come back to his apartment and the two men got into an argument over Brinson's pocket knives.
He admitted to slapping Ruona, but doesn't remember what happened after that.